Hi everyone, in this tutorial, you'll learn how to handle files in PHP. PHP provides multiple functions for reading, creating, uploading, and modifying files. Read file function. The read file function reads a file and outputs its contents to the buffer. Suppose we have a file named file.txt stored on the server, containing this text string. So, the output of this statement will be this text. fopen function. Another way to open files is by using the fopen function, which offers more options compared to the read file function. The first parameter of the fopen function specifies the name of the file to be opened, while the second parameter determines the mode in which the file should be opened. For example, this statement opens this file in read mode. Because of this value, a file can be opened in one of the following modes. Write means reading only, reads from the beginning. W means writing only. Existing contents are erased or a new file is created if it doesn't exist. A means writing only. Existing data is preserved or a new file is created if it doesn't exist. The file pointer starts at the end of the file. X creates a new file for writing only if it doesn't exist. R+ means reading and writing. The file pointer starts at the beginning of the file. W+ means reading and writing. Existing contents are erased or a new file is created if it doesn't exist. I+ means reading and writing. Existing data is preserved or a new file is created if it doesn't exist. The file pointer starts at the end of the file. X+ means reading and writing, only if the file doesn't exist. The fopen function in PHP can be used not only to open files, but also to create them. If you attempt to open a file that doesn't exist, and specify a mode that allows writing or appending, such as write or append, PHP will create the file automatically. In this example, a new file is created in the same directory as the PHP script, because of this writing mode. PHP file permissions. If you encounter errors while trying to run the functions explained in this tutorial, ensure that your PHP script has the necessary permissions to write to the hard drive. Without proper write access, the file creation process will fail. Read file, fread. The fread function reads data from an open file. The first parameter of fread is the file handle, while the second parameter specifies the maximum number of bytes to read. For example, this PHP code reads the contents of this file until the end, because the file size function specifies the total number of bytes in a file. Close file, fclose. The fclose function is utilized to terminate access to a file that has been previously opened. It's a good practice in programming to close files once you're done with them, because leaving a file open can unnecessarily consume resources on your server. To close a file, you can use the fclose function, like this, where this parameter is the file handle. Read single line, fgets. The fgets function is used to read one line from a file. An example usage is given here. Note that after a call to the fgets function, the file pointer moves to the next line. Check end of file feof. The feof function checks whether the end of file has been reached. It is particularly useful when looping through data of an unknown length. In this example, this file is read, line by line, using a while loop, until the end of the file is reached. Read single character, fgetc. The fgetc function is used to read one character at a time from a file. In this example, this file is read character by character, using a while loop, until the end of the file is reached. Note that each time the fgetc function is called, the file pointer advances to the next character. Write to file, fwrite. The fwrite function is used to write data to a file. It takes two parameters, The first parameter is the file pointer, the file to write to, and the second parameter is the string to be written. In this example, multiple lines are written to this file by using the fWrite function. So, the output of this fRead statement will be this text. File overwriting. When we open an already existing file for writing, the existing content will be completely erased, and the file will be cleared, leaving it empty and ready for new data. For example, here we are writing these new lines to the file we created in the previous example. The output of this fRead statement is this text, which shows that the file has been overwritten. Append text to a file. To add data to an existing file without erasing the current content, you can use the A mode, like this. This mode appends new text to the end of the file instead of overwriting, as you can see in this output. Uploading files in PHP. Uploading files to a server in PHP is straightforward, but it comes with risks. It's important to exercise caution whenever file uploads are permitted. Now, we'll see how to set up a basic script to upload files on a web server. Configure php.ini. First, make sure PHP is set up to allow file uploads. In your PHP configuration file, locate the file uploads directive and set it to on. Like this. Create HTML form. The next step is to build an HTML form that allows file selection and uploading. As shown here, there are some form requirements. First, ensure that the form uses post method for proper data submission. The form must also include a type attribute and the value should be multi-part form data. The type attribute of the input tag should be set to file. This form will send the uploaded file data to this PHP file, which we will examine next. PHP script. Here is a sample PHP file for handling file uploads, with improvements for security, structure, and readability. This statement sets the directory where the uploaded files will be stored. The directory uploads must exist and should have appropriate read and write permissions. This statement sets the full target file path by combining the target directory and the original name of the uploaded file. This statement initializes a tracking variable to 1, which means that the upload is allowed by default. It will be set to 0 if any checks fail. This statement extracts the file extension from the uploaded file's name and converts it to lowercase for easier comparison. This condition checks if the form has been submitted by verifying the existence of the submit key in the post array. This condition checks if a file has been successfully uploaded to the temporary directory on the server. If successful, it proceeds, otherwise, it outputs this error message. Here we are checking if the uploaded file has one of these allowed extensions. If yes, it proceeds, otherwise it outputs this message and sets the tracking variable to 0. Here we are checking if the uploaded file size is within 5 MB limit. If yes, it proceeds, otherwise it outputs this message and sets the tracking variable to 0. Here we are checking if the file already exists on the server. If it exists, it shows this message and sets the tracking variable to 0, otherwise the script proceeds. Finally, if all of the above checks pass, the file is saved on the server using this function. Otherwise, this error message is shown. This was all about file handling in PHP. Please check the video description for more information. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more tutorial videos.